Welcome everybody to a show has no name. The GCandC Game of Thrones reaction show. We're gonna do this throughout the end of the year. Uh, Gonna try and be super structured with this so we don't all talk over each other because I've got a big group here, and I would say that most of the time I'm going to jump in and try and not waste any time. This first time, let's go around the horn a little bit here and do some introductions. If you guys do anything on the internet, go ahead and shout that out. You know, whatever you want to do. So my name's Nate. If you're watching this video, you know that I do a little show called Comically Gaming, probably. Yeah, find us on YouTube. Find me on Twitter. I'll have everybody's Twitter handles in front of their picture, so FYI. Corey?
Other half of Comically Gaming. Know me.
Toast. Jeff?
Well, if you don't know me, if you don't watch the Labyrinth Lifers, I'm one of the players in that, and I admin the Facebook page for GCNC, and what's up?
Totally. Appreciate that. You do some editing work for me, too. Appreciate the crap out of that, so thank you. All right, Jimmy?
I'm Jimmy, or OTK Magic Stick. I stream on Twitch under GCandC. I am on YouTube as OTK Magic Stick. I'm just super active on the Games and Comic Culture channel. I love everything they do, and I'm glad they allow me to hang out.
Totally. Absolutely. We appreciate you as well. And then Casey?
What's up, Casey Knight? I've got a movie night channel on YouTube where I do weekly movie reviews, as well as now I'm doing my own Game of Thrones show as well, and I'm going to do some theory videos coming up. Got some juicy stuff coming. So I come on the show for GCNC whenever we're talking about comic book movies, nerd stuff, or the best series on television. So that's why I'm here.
So
follow me, Movie Night 88 on Twitter.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Say it again.
Oh, it's right there. Movie Night 88.
It is right there. You're right. So right. I watched your first show, 40 minutes, huh? You going deep?
Yeah, 38. It was longer, but I chopped out some stuff because we went really far into like some book stuff. And I wanted to keep it casual, so yeah. And then it was our first run at it. You know, we just kind of gushed, so it was kind of like talking about everything that could happen, has happened, not just what happened in the episode. But yeah, we'll make it a little tighter going forward.
Totally. Yeah, whatever. I thought it was good. I liked it.
Thanks. Yeah.
So
it's my favorite shit. So.
Right, so we're going to do this show, we're going to do almost completely the opposite. We're going to pick 3 topics every week. We kind of vote in our little Discord group or about what the topics will be, whatever ones we want to talk about the most, not necessarily any other reasons than that. I'm going to go around the group. I'm going to put a timer on here. You got 2 minutes to talk about it so we don't talk over each other because normally we're going to have 6 people as well. And then we'll move on to the next topic. We'll rotate around so a different person will start each conversation. And yeah, we'll go from there. Just have some fun. Talk some Game of Thrones the week after. And the reason why I'm going to get crazy with timers is because I know how this goes. If we don't, this will be a 3.5-hour show. So
Buster.
Yep. So trying something different, a little bit like Pardon the Interruption or something like that, but only super nerdy. So we're gonna start this off. This is full spoilers if we didn't say that before, right? And we'll kick it off here. Let's talk. We're talking. If you're just jumping in here, it's season 7. It's episode 1, and the first topic that we're going to talk about this week is the opening. Corey, go.
Opening, awesome. At first, I didn't really realize that it was Arya. My buddy was like, "Is that Arya?" And I thought maybe it was like a flashback to before she killed him, and then but then he said that, and then I realized what was going on. But just totally awesome. Just giving the speech, it sounded just like him, and then so the only one, he only fucked up one thing. He left one Stark. You didn't kill all the Starks. And then everybody started dying, and it was just got hyped. It was awesome. Arya's a badass now.
she fed him his son, and then killed him, and then killed all his men by herself. Real strong opening scene, obviously. Really liked it. Thought it was sweet. Yeah, I don't know. Good, strong first scene for Arya. Glad they started with her.
And feel free to skip ahead. You
Right.
don't have to just stick to that scene if you want.
What was next?
Next was the White Walkers.
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought that was my favorite scene of the show for sure. Starting with Arya, then White Walker stuff was cool. Giants coming in. I was kind of afraid that Hodor was going to be with them.
There you go. There's your timer. You're off. All right, Jeff.
Oh man. Well, Corey took everything I was going to say. I agreed. I thought it was a flashback. I thought it was going back a little bit, and then I keyed in on it when she said, you know, you let him in the house, took salt with him, and then you killed them all. And that's when I figured out it was Arya, and that was interesting. She was leaving the women to be alive and not drink the wine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the White Walkers were cool. I did like the transition into the giant, because those were sided with the wildlings in the last couple of seasons. And but I thought the opening back, I was it Winterfell or was that Castle Black that Jon Snow was at? They didn't really get really into it. But you would think that it was, if it was Castle Black at the wall, then when Bran and what's her name showed up at the gate, the next scene would have seen Bran being, I can't talk because I'm under the gun. That Bran would see Jon and Sansa and realize that they're still alive. So that is a good question. Yeah, I'm talking about with all the houses. So it could have been Winterfell because they're at Winterfell.
Positive,
okay, that makes more sense because Littlefinger's there and they just took it from the Boldens. And okay, that makes more sense. I was too enthralled in watching, trying to take in everything than to pick it apart. But I like the girl that plays what is it, Lyanna Mormont, the 10-year-old. What is it? Lyanna. Okay, Lyanna. I just like her character. I like how she's really strong, and for a 10-year-old, and she's not stepping down to any of the other lords of all the houses in the north. I did mention this in Discord. Sansa
there you go.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's your 2 minutes. It goes fast, huh?
Oh my gosh.
All right, Jimmy. You're up.
All right.
Yep.
All right, so right off the bat, I was completely just jumping ahead, trying to guess what was going on. Like, my first thing was, these guys are getting poisoned. Before I even knew that it was Arya, I was like, these guys are all dead. Like, just the vibe he gave out, I was like, they're dead. He's going to kill them. They're all dead. He didn't let them drink their own stuff. He brought his own wine. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I'm like, Arya is the faceless whatever, and she's got this. She is him now, and she's about to own this entire room. Like, before it actually told us what was going on, I nailed all that stuff. I was super pumped. And then I'm also wondering about all the soldiers on the ships coming with Daenerys, because most of them have never sailed before. So I'm kind of wondering what the heck's going to go on with them. If they all made it, how many made it? Like, what kind of, how structured and full of a group are they still after that trip across the sea? So I'm still wondering about that. And then Bran, I'm super excited about him being back. Three-Eyed Raven, I almost wonder what the heck he even means when he says that he's the Three-Eyed Raven. Like, what kind of, does he have more powers? Like, is he capable of more things now? So I'm just, completely mind blown on that. I knew he wasn't showing up where Jon was. I knew Jon was at Winterfell because they just took over the castle and they're all settling in, trying to bring everybody together. I wish that we knew where the White Walkers were. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but like I want to see a map, and I want to see what kind of like distances they've covered, how long we like are anticipating their arrival. Even if it was just like a little pinpoint on the map every time the show started, like on how much closer the White Walkers have advanced. Just some sort of like anticipation on how long it's going to take.
There you go. You're up, Casey.
Well, as far as the Arya scene, that was amazing. I mean, I kind of knew when they cast the guy that plays Walder Frey for this season that she was going to be wearing his face because we know he's dead, and a flashback wouldn't make that much sense because there's not anything super important that already happened. But yeah, so when I saw Walder Frey and he's calling every, Frey that means a shit to the world or whatever, like into one place, and he just had a feast and even like, says that, like, I know it's peculiar that I'm having you all back again. I was like, this is gonna be a bloodbath, and I wasn't sure how it was gonna happen until he's like, and the girls start bringing the wine. I was like, yeah, okay, they're all gonna start dying, but it didn't make it any less fun to watch all those bastards die. I mean, just coughing up their own blood while she's also like roasting them for like, oh yeah, all the heroes that stabbed a pregnant lady, feel really good for yourself, you pieces of shit. And I mean, she was just roasting them, and then pulls off the face and tells, let them know that winter's come, for House Frey, and just wiped out the entire house, in one fell swoop. It was amazing. I loved watching it. Bran and the White Walkers, seeing that they have giants. It's like, how many more weapons are they going to get? I don't know. They're already really formidable. But seeing that Bran is the three-eyed raven now, I think it just means that like he downloaded all that information before he left the great tree in the north, and that now that Bloodraven's gone, he is the only green seer left on the planet with the abilities he has. And I'm wondering where they're going to go with it. He might warg a dragon. He might do something really cool, but I want to see how far his powers go, how much of a help he's really going to be, because he's been training for like the entire show. So that's interesting to me. But yeah, I mean, it's a great episode. And I also was really interested to see what would happen when he went into the wall, because a lot of people thought the mark on him that broke the magic in the cave might break the magic in the wall, and it still might, but I thought maybe when they went into the tunnel they'd show it cracking or something. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right. I'll wrap it up. Again, I think we all are in agreement. Super badass way to start the season with Arya getting revenge, not only against an individual, but against like 100 people. She's crafty. Somehow, not only did she slit somebody's throat, but she went back in the kitchen, poisoned a boatload of wine, sent it out to them, and then mocked them all to their faces while she did it. I'll be honest, I never guess stuff ahead of time. My wife she's always guessed everything in every movie, and I totally have no idea until after it's done.
Stop her list.
I thought I thought that it was just a flashback. To be honest, I thought I even thought that he was taking people out, just to hide the evidence or something. I don't know what I didn't know what was going on, but because you've seen her put on people's faces all the time, you've never seen her act a role that's so polar opposite of what she is and be able to nail the voice and everything. So clearly, to me, like in the show anyways, I feel like that she's got some skills that she flexed there that, are above and beyond anything that she's done in the past. We know that she can fight with the sword. We know that she's an assassin, but she took that whole costume thing to the whole next level. The one thing that I was going to go to that I'm surprised that nobody else did, because it's not one of our main topics, is then the scene at her with the campfire with the Lannister soldiers and whatnot, and just for her to sit down with those soldiers and be like, hey, we're going to I'm going to King's Landing to kill the queen. Everybody's
and they all laugh. Like, she just giggles.
Yeah, right. And she's absolutely, got the skills to do it. Who knows what's. I feel like she's the one that's going to show back up instead of what's his name's brother from the Greyjoys or
Theon.
Yeah, not Theon, but he's bringing back the gift. I feel like she's going to come back with a gift, and it's going to be a sword in the belly. Cersei. All right, so that's topic 1. Thanks, everybody. We're going to go on to topic 2, which is basically just Winterfell. So go ahead and wrap on that however you want to. You can talk about the meeting. You can talk about the people that are there. Talk about whatever was going on in the north. But, we had probably about 20 minutes of the show was spent in Winterfell. So we're going to move on. So, Jeff, you take this one first.
Well, now that we've cleared up that it's Winterfell, and I feel much makes more sense. I like that meeting because Jon is trying to rally the North as his bannerman. I did like the decision that he made to not hold the children accountable for their father's actions for betraying their trust and siding with the Boltons when they took Winterfell. But I said it on Discord where I think that they're going to put the women in more power as the season progresses, because you're starting to see it come full circle. Sansa is becoming more independent, especially everything she's gone through with her lecherous, I guess, uncle, if you want to say that Littlefinger is her uncle. He's always had to watch for her mom and pretty much the entire Stark family girls. But I think it's be interesting that he can rally. Jon hit it on the head, though, that he's got to worry about the North and the South. White Walkers to the north and Lannister army down in King's Landing. But one thing we didn't talk about was I noticed there's a lot of maps. They really focused on maps in this episode more than they've ever have in the past, because you see at the end credits, the end where Daenerys goes into Dragonstone, and there's a map that Stannis Baratheon used when he was using that keep, and Cersei was having a huge map of Westeros painted on the floor for her to start manipulating her armies to try and defend King's Landing and fight the North at the same time. What else? But back to Winterfell, I think they're going to be a stronger army than when Robb tried to unite all the houses in the north.
Word.
And on that.
All right, Jimmy.
All right, so the Starks are my favorite house. Just gonna throw that out there. Every single time that a Stark has died in the show, it has gut-wrenched me, and I almost stopped watching every single time. But Jon is here for us, and Sansa and Arya, so I'm still in. I'm still good. First of all, every time Jon gets Buck in the meeting room, punking everybody, I'm like, please don't get killed again. Please don't get killed again. Like, we've already seen everybody turn on him. So I'm just like, please, just chill. Don't overextend. Please, just, like, you're doing great, but just please be careful, because we've already seen you get taken out by people that you thought were on your team. So then Sansa jumps in, and she makes a great point. However, first of all, she's making him look dumb by talking over him, arguing with him. There's another time and a place for that. I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm not saying her point's not good, but she's got to chill, because if she makes him look weak, everybody's going to think he's weak, and then he's going to be in more danger, and I don't want him in danger. I want everybody to fear the almighty Jon Stark. Or, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Jon Snow.
Jon Targaryen.
So he's going to be a great leader. I'm excited to see the women step up and start taking on combat roles. They already have Brienne of Tar, who's the strong. I feel like she's the strongest one there, unless Jon decides that he's going to step up to her. But other than that, like, I don't really see. She killed the Hound, or basically.
Right.
I mean, he got embarrassed. Let's be honest. She is a badass, and she could train every single one of them to be way stronger than they are now. And if you give her some young girls to start really, really bucking down, she's gonna create warriors. I mean, there's no doubt about it. She's a badass, and they have everything in Winterfell to create a dynasty. I feel like they're on their way, and they have more weapons and on different. I mean, they don't have dragons, but they're definitely up there with all that stuff. And then I'm really
timed out. Sorry, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Casey.
All right, yeah. So Winterfell, and just to tie the two stories together, what I was really confused with Arya's story when she was seeing those Lannister soldiers is that I thought when she left Bravo, she says, "I'm Arya Stark of Winterfell," and I'm going home. And I was like, cool, pit stop, go kill some Freys and then go home. But she's going for her list. And when she kills the Freys, she also says, you left one Stark. So she obviously has no idea that Sansa, Bran, Jon are alive, or that Sansa and Jon just took back Winterfell. I think once she figures that out, once that she gets word, she's going to flip a Yui and go up to Winterfell, because she's not going to go to King's Landing and maybe die killing someone on her list when she could go reunite with her family, go home, kick her feet up for a little bit and actually relax, So I think that the stuff going on in Winterfell is obviously really interesting. I kind of expected them to talk about the Dread Fort, the Bolton Castle, and that he would give that to Tormund and the Wildlings. But having them man the wall makes way more sense right now. He could do that later as like an award, if they win this war, if they survive the war. But I think it was smart to not completely condemn those houses, because they were following the Boltons, who were assholes. But the Boltons were also put in charge by the crown. So, disobeying the crown's kind of a no-no most of the time, unless, the Lannister assholes are running shit. So I thought it was noble the way he handled it. Sansa kind of talking over him, like, I agree, it makes him look weak. It makes them look divided, which is exactly what Littlefinger wants, and he was right there to try and get in her ear. But she was just like, yeah, fuck off. I'm not listening to your shit. I'll just pretend whatever you said was clever, and just lets him walk away. She needs to hide her contempt a little bit, because she's saying she's keeping him around because he's useful for the Vale, but she's also not hiding her contempt for him. So he's not going to stick around and let her talk to him like that forever. She's got to be careful the way she plays that. But yeah, I mean, I want Bran to get back there with his Xavier chair from the trailer and start telling them all that shit, they know. So
Xavier chair.
All right, so yeah, I agree with a couple of those points there for sure. It's clear that even from the trailers going into this season, that they're kind of trying to show that there's discontent between Jon and Sansa, and then of course Littlefinger is going to prey on that to get whatever he wants out of it. Which, she made the comment of, I know exactly what he wants, when he walked away and she was sitting there with Jon Snow, assuming that she means he wants to marry her. He's got the hots for Stark ladies, so and she's the only one left. But I feel like they've almost pointed so much that's what's going to happen, that it isn't, that there's going to be a surprise, that something else is going to happen. So I'm just curious kind of what that is. I feel like if this season moves along and it is Sansa and Jon constantly bickering with each other, and then her trying to take over, you assume that she looks at him as a bastard still, whereas she's a Stark. And so why is this guy the king of the North and I'm not allowed to have any say in anything? Going back to kind of what Jimmy said, though, is that I agree that there's a time and a place. Like, the two of them need to sit down before that meeting and hash out whatever they're going to do, and it was clear that Jon was kind of disrespecting her when they were talking later on the wall of Winterfell, where he was saying, she was saying, you basically, you need to be smarter than my dad was, you need to be smarter than my brother was, and his response was, by what, listening to you? And he, kind of snarky comment, to be honest, you know what I mean? So surprised that the two of them have so much conflict, and that they need to get it back together. And finally I'll just say, Jon Snow, I feel like he's a zombie. If he gets taken out, he's going to come back again. It doesn't matter. Take him out all you want. All right,
Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah, is he a zombie? I mean, that's what I was talking with my buddy at work, and we were telling the girl that was watching it. She missed like the last season, but she wanted to watch the premiere with us, so we were telling her that he was dead. And my buddy's like, "Oh no, he's just fully alive, and he's fine. There's nothing weird about him. He was just brought back to life." And I feel like there's still gotta be. You can't just kind of brought back to life. I feel like there's got to be something weird about him now, right? He's not just
he's a fire white.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I like to. Yeah, obviously, like you said, they should have talked before holding that meeting instead of her talking over him. It definitely seemed like everybody was agreeing with her whenever she would talk. All the guys in the crowd were like cheering that John should give the houses to other people, and when he was saying no, they need to stay with the true owners, everybody was quiet. So it was kind of clear that they were taking her side, and obviously we don't need that. Then when he called the two kids out and they took a knee for him, everybody seemed to kind of get back on his side, and it's cool having the kids play the big role. I mean, the one girl, and now there's two other kids that are the heads of the houses. I didn't read the books, but a lot of people are pretty young in the series, like younger than they look in the show, apparently. But I thought that was cool. The scene with Arya with the Lannister soldiers, it's clear that it seems like she doesn't care that they're Lannister soldiers, like, because they were, they're good people. She's not gonna kill them. Hopefully not.
Not
Give her some rabbit. Definitely not threatened. So.
All right, and then the final topic
Hey,
for the
Nate.
day. Yeah.
You totally brought up that zombie thing. You should probably clear that up. Are you talking about the Fire White thing that just came out?
No, I mean just talking about the fact that he was raised from the dead.
Oh,
he had his,
did you guys hear about what just
he had
happened
his
though?
guts
With
full
the interview?
of swords and whatnot.
The other guy has been brought back way more times than John has.
Right, the fire
Well,
guy. Yeah. Right.
There's a big interview that just happened with George R. R. Martin where he said that Beric Dondarrion and Jon Snow, anyone who's brought back that way, that they're technically whites. So their blood's not flowing, their heart's not beating. They're just whites brought back by fire, so they're still themselves. Whereas
White
the white
Walker.
for the white.
And she was what's her name? That obviously worships fire and whatnot as
Oh,
well.
woman.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Kind of changes shit
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
means he's basically gonna slowly start dying and deteriorating over time. So
Gotta get shit rolling then. But what's gonna happen when he actually fights a White Walker?
No.
He's
I don't
still
know if
gonna
they can
need the
turn him.
proper. Do they need the proper weapon to kill him now?
Right.
Oh,
well,
Valyric
no, because
steel.
Bring
Beric
it back.
dies over and over normal ways.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. The final topic today is the Daenerys landing on the shore. So obviously, there's no dialogue there. I don't know how much if you guys want to riff off on other things as well. That's more than fine. But yeah, let's roll with that. Jimmy, you kick it off for this one.
All right, so Daenerys has landed on the Dragon Glass. I don't know if anybody picked that up, but Sam is writing a letter to Jon telling him that the Dragon Glass is at that castle.
Mhm.
Daenerys has literally stumbled upon empty castle that's on the Dragon Glass. So now Jon is going to get a letter. He's going to say, hey, I found the Dragon Glass. He's going to be like, oh, awesome, that castle's empty. And they're going to march on to that castle, and Daenerys is going to be there with her army and her dragons. So now, before even a war even happens or planned, we're going to get to see people fight over this Dragon Glass. I mean, she probably doesn't know that she needs it yet, but Jon knows that he needs it. So I don't know if they'll be able to talk. I mean, he's not sitting on her throne or anything. So maybe they'll be able to come together, make an agreement. Jon will be like, hey, whatever you want, we'll do whatever you need. Just give us the Dragon Glass so we can fight the White Walkers. We'll go kill Cersei after this, whatever. Try to make an agreement. Because I don't really see why they would have to kill each other right off the bat. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to talk it out. But if Jon shows up to a castle that's not empty, or maybe he'll know it's not empty. Well, who knows? But I don't want there to be conflict there, but I feel like we might get some early conflict. And then, I'm hoping that Sam is able to get the letter out quickly. He kind of seems like he's a nobody there. So when he's like, oh, I got to get a letter out, well, you can't even get into the bookcase, bro. You're scooping shit and you have no keys. Do you have a raven? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna have to steal a raven too. All right, Casey.
Yeah, so I mean, Daenerys finally gets to Westeros after 6 fucking seasons, and now her dragons are the size of jet planes. So it's time to fuck shit up. And I like that it goes. She could go sit on the throne, and she just goes, no, let's get to work. Let's go to the war table. Shall we begin with Tyrion and her? I like that it was quiet. I like that we got to see Dragonstone in the daytime for once, and really got to see how it was built by Targaryens. There's sculptures of dragons everywhere. That was really cool. I'm excited to see what happens with that. I feel like just like Cersei did when she became queen, she sent a letter to Winterfell. I think Daenerys will do the same fucking thing, and so he'll probably get the one from Sam and the one from Daenerys at the same time, and he'll go to talk with her and be like, "Hey, we want peace, and we want some dragon help up north would be great." And also, you're sitting on a mountain of shit we need, so you're not going to use it. Let us use it. It's going to make sense. I think that they're going to have a mutual respect for each other. Plus, he knows Tyrion, and Tyrion's her right-hand man, so that makes more sense for them to just kind of have a talk and figure shit out. And maybe Bran tells him he's Targaryen. That would be kind of interesting before he goes, but I don't think that'll happen. I think it'll happen later. The scene I really want to talk about was the Hound. That was my favorite scene of the whole episode. I mean, Arya killing all the Freys is great, but the Hound being such a perpetual cynic, he gets haunted by the crimes of his past. Seeing that father-daughter broke my heart. Having him dig the graves is actually kind of a callback to the books, where there's this anonymous grave digger who everyone thinks is the Hound because he's huge, and turns out he's probably going to be the Hound in the books. So that was kind of a cool call out. But yeah, seeing him see in the flames the White Walkers, and now he's like all in. They're going to go to Eastwatch, the tower we haven't seen yet. There's going to be some big shit happening at Eastwatch by the Sea, and I'm super excited to see the castle where it meets the ocean. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see that. And that scene just had so much character development for me, for the Hound. So I loved it.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like, you both touched on it, and I agree. Like, not only do Jon and Tyrion know each other, but I would go as far as to say they're homies. Like, the scene at the beginning of the whole series when they're both on top of the wall together, when Tyrion took a leak off the side of it and stuff. Like, I think that if Tyrion is smart, and we all know he is, that, he's absolutely going to pair up the two of them in terms of, I don't know, battle or whatever. What I don't really remember is, did Tyrion leave and go meet Daenerys before Jon and all them had seen the Walkers? Does he realize that they're the threat that they are, or is that going to be
the White attacks Jorah Mormont while he's there, and he tells them in King's Landing that they're real, but they all don't laugh. They laugh at him.
Yeah, so I feel like to some extent that Daenerys is going to be all geared up to go attack King's Landing, and Jon's going to be like, look, that's not where the war needs to be. You need to come with us. And then, the question is, can they get Cersei on board, which we all know they probably can't. That's probably zero chance of that happening, so it'll be interesting to see. Also, before my time runs out, just that the reason why, I just wanted to point out that her arriving on the shore and doing everything that they did with zero dialogue, I thought was so great. Just like you said, Casey, seeing the place in the daytime, well lit and everything, all those carvings all the way along, and not a single time did she look back and ask anybody a question about anything. She just took it all in, step by step up the hill, through the castle, and then not to the throne, but to the war room. So just really, really cool, really, really fun, great way to end the show. I thought the beginning and the ending could not have asked for more. Corey.
Yeah, I agree with all that. It's awesome when Daenerys got there, and it's obviously a good place where they got all the dragon statues, and badass. They went straight to the war table, and I don't think she's gonna fight with Jon Snow either once they meet up. I think it's hopefully it'll be Jon, Daenerys, and Tyrion. Each one riding a dragon. Flying into battle. I just think that they're both good. They should be able to talk it out. They both seem like good people. Obviously, Cersei's not a good person, and they probably take out the White Walkers and then go for her. Maybe just let Arya take care of her. I feel like Arya's not just gonna kill her because she's got too much shit going on. It'd be with the buildup of the Lannisters and how big of a family they are, for Arya just to slip in and take her out. I don't feel like that's gonna happen. It'd be cool if it did, but and then maybe Jamie will turn on her. He seems like he's kind of a decent dude, but I don't know. They're just likes to bang his sister and needs to get over that. Yeah, good ending. I'm excited to see what happens when they all get together. Obviously, yeah, Jon needs that son. Yeah, and that poop was nasty with all the poop.
The poop's
Gross.
nasty.
Went on way too long.
I laughed when you said they were flying dragons, but Jon is Tigerian, so there's no reason why he wouldn't fly a dragon. To be honest, like that definitely could happen. All right, sorry, Jeff, go.
One's named
Well,
after
I like
his
going
dad,
last.
so-
Yeah, I like going last because I get to talk about everything you guys talked about. But so if Bran doesn't tell Jon who he is before Jon goes down to harvest Dragonglass and meet with Daenerys, I think the dragons will be able to identify him as Targaryen blood. On top of that, I do like Daenerys. It was like a homecoming because the first thing she did when she landed on the beach was she put her hand on the sand and felt it, and it just gave that whole like I'm finally home kind of kissing the ground when you land from a plane. And she knew where to go. She just had that sense of where to go in the castle, knew that it was open. But also, you think of her entourage. She not only does she have Tyrion, she has Viserys,
Right.
who is a eunuch, and he knew. Varys. Varys knew the girls, and he didn't know Jon Snow. I don't think, because Jon didn't go to King's Landing. Nope. But then you also have Theon, who's with Daenerys, and he grew up with the Starks for that time. So that is going to help, I think, keep the peace between Daenerys and Jon, because Theon now. Sansa might get pissed off at Theon and go on a little blood rage, but I think Jon needs to keep that in check. But I do like the scene when she walked in, and the first thing she did once she got into the throne room is she did remove the Baratheon banner from the ceiling. I like that scene, and then she just went right into War Room, as everyone has already commented on. But I also think that if Jon can convince her that the White Walkers are the main threat, they might go take care of that and let Arya, if she changes her mind, go and scout King's Landing and relay it back. Yeah,
Totally. All right. Thank you, everybody. That took us a minute to get going, but I feel like once we got halfway through this, we were rolling, and it went really well. I definitely had a good time. Hope you guys did too. I feel like also just real quick, especially since we're one short, I just want to throw one more thing at you guys. We don't need a timer for it, but we got 12 episodes left to go. What's your gut instinct prediction? How's this thing end? And I'll start. White Walkers win. Wipe everybody out. Corey?
I don't know. I feel maybe it's just obvious. I feel like Daenerys on the throne and the Starks in the north.
All right, Jeff?
I think that you see all the younger kids now coming into as lords of the great houses. I think we're going to see the adults die out. They're going to conquer the White Walkers because the Maester said that they've always survived Winter's Come a couple of times, and the first men were able to beat back the White Walkers. So, but I think it's going to be the children that are going to come out on top, and I think that Tyrion may bring Lannisters back.
Sure.
He's
Oh, there you
not
go.
banging his sister.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. All right, Jimmy.
Theon's not having kids though.
Okay, so what I want, I feel like is never gonna happen because they've always fucked me over with the show, and they always want to hurt me.
So I say White Walkers win.
It's hard. It's really hard to choose anything, but I think every single clan, every single family, every single person in this show is going to come together. They're going to defeat the White Walkers, and everybody's going to have a place. Now, Daenerys is definitely going to be on the throne, but hey, Cersei and Jaime and Tyrion, they can all go back to
Casterly Rock.
Casterly Rock. Everybody has a place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everybody wants someone else's place, but everybody has a place. And I feel like everyone's gonna come together, kill the White Walkers, and everybody's gonna be able to have a place to go to when they're done.
Nice. Casey?
Okay, so everyone's gonna come together except for Cersei because she's a crazy bitch. So they're gonna have to kill her. Someone's gonna have to kill her. And then after that, everything will be good. Except for at the end of this season, I think the wall comes down, and the White Walkers have nothing stopping them from invading Westeros. Winter is going to come. We're going to see snow. And as far as King's Landing and Dorne, it's going to be, the winter will really be everywhere. And when they come together, if Jon is Azor Ahai, the legend says that he only made Lightbringer, the sword of fire that stopped the White Walkers, by plunging it into his wife's chest, merging her soul with the sword, and that's when it becomes Lightbringer. So maybe he falls in love with Daenerys, and she becomes Lightbringer. He has to sacrifice her to kill the White Walkers, or, because it's supposed to be a bittersweet ending, that's what the author said, either they sacrifice a major player like Daenerys to stop them, and they do defeat the White Walkers for good, forever, or something else crazy happens, like Jon has to take over the mantle of the Night's King and take them all in retreat and go live the rest of his eternity as the Night's King somewhere else.
So not Ors, Casey. When the whole thing, when we watch the last episode, we're going to rewind to this predictions part, and you got to pick something.
It's going to be sad. I mean, whatever happens, I don't think you can live, like they made a truce with them obviously before, where they beat them back, built the wall, and they stayed up there until now. So I don't think they'll do the truce again. So if I had to say definitively one or the other, it's probably that, yeah, he kills Daenerys, or maybe Jaime kills Cersei, and so he becomes Azor Ahai. That'd be kind of interesting. But they're going to kill him. But one of them's going to have to sacrifice someone that they love more than anyone in the world.
Pick one. You can't. You're saying multiple things.
Jon Snow. Jon Snow kills Daenerys. Lightbringer ends it.
Takes out the king. All right, cool. All right, thanks everybody for joining. That's been our first show. We'll do it again every Monday that we can, anyways. And I do have alternates, even though both of them failed out. So if you guys can't make it because of whatever, because of life, we can skip a week or whatever and hop back in. But thanks for joining everybody. Thanks for watching everybody. And yeah, ready for next Sunday.
There also will be an ice dragon. That's last prediction. There will be.
All right. Later, guys.
See you guys.
Peace.